here in Pinewood Battery. For those of you who don't know, Pinewood Battery was used as a base for the Hong Kong soldiers during the Hong Kong battle. They used this place to house their anti-aircraft turrets. These are the remains of the old base. The base started constructing in 1901 and finished being constructed in 1905. Did you know these bases are so secure that during the war there was only one death and one casualty in the base? Now on to Kabir and myself to talk about the economy during the Japanese occupation. Behind us here is where the anti-aircraft turrets used to be. Now Kabir and I are going to be talking about the economy during the Japanese occupation.
When Japan occupied Hong Kong, the currency of Hong Kong was outlawed and replaced by the Japanese yen.
In January 1942, when Japan first occupied Hong Kong, the currency rate was 2 Hong Kong dollars to 1 military yen. But as the years went on, the economy was better, and the trade rate was 4 Hong Kong dollars to 1 military yen.
The Japanese government sold the Hong Kong dollars to help Japan finance their wartime economy. However, this was bad in the bigger picture, as in 1943, the yen was made the legal tender. Therefore, all the prices were to be marked in yen.
Soon, because of the money shortage, all public transport were shut down because of the money loss.
Tens of thousands of Hong Kong residents became homeless. Therefore, Japanese decided to open 2 Japanese banks, the Bank of Taiwan and Yokohama Spice Bank.
This helped Japan increase their money, as all the Hong Kong citizens were suffering at that time. So because they opened the 2 banks, everyone was a bit happier, and now we're going to Christine and Abby for communication and social life and education during the Japanese occupation.
Students were forced to learn Japanese. If they got bad marks in their grade, they risked being beaten by their teachers. The Japanese people wanted to learn a bilingual system, English and Japanese.
They also heavily promoted Japanese festival celebrations, such as the Shrine Festival in Hong Kong. Newspapers also became the setting for Japanese propaganda.
The Japanese also tried to introduce custom to Hong Kong. The Japanese were encouraged to bring their companies to Hong Kong. The Japanese people settled in Hong Kong for a few years. The leader of the Japanese politics were General Isogai Rensuke. He became the first Japanese leader of Hong Kong on the 20th of February.
Isogai Rensuke ruled over Hong Kong for 3.5 years. Early in January 1942, former members of the Hong Kong police, including the Indians and Chinese, were recruited into a reformed police called the Kempe Tai with new uniforms.
The police routinely performed execution at Kings Park in Kowloon by using Chinese for beheading, shooting, and beyond practice. The Japanese gendarmerie took over all police stations and organized the police in 5 divisions, namely East Hong Kong, West Hong Kong, Kowloon, New Territories, and Border Police.
The headquarters was situated in the former Supreme Court building. Police in Hong Kong were under the organization and control of the Japanese government.
As you can see, behind here is one of the trenches which the Hong Kong soldiers used during the war to hide from the Japanese soldiers. Now we will be talking about the anti-Japanese resistance. During the Japanese occupation, there are many anti-resistant groups, because the Hong Kong people wanted to diminish the Japanese people. The resistance group called the East Column River started in 1937 and ended during 1945. This group assaulted Japanese soldiers on the streets and kidnapped them. So they helped. not much, but getting rid of one Japanese soldier at a time.
Peasants, seamen, and students formed this group, planning to fortify Hong Kong from Japanese soldiers. This was the biggest anti-Japanese force in Hong Kong at the time.
I will be talking about the end of the Japanese occupation. Hong Kong was governed by Izuke Rakasaki. For 3 years and 8 months, he was the first Japanese governor of Hong Kong. During this time, Japanese soldiers tortured and murdered many of the population and raped over 10,000 women. Even though Hong Kong had soldiers to the Japanese occupation, Chinese had a war in the new territories called the Guerrilla War. They fought until the end of the Japanese occupation. The soldiers that died had been buried in the Stanley Cemetery. The British became in charge of Hong Kong in 1845, followed by the Japanese forces surrendering on the 15th of August, which was 6 days after the US dropped the atomic bomb in Nagasaki. General Takasaki, who led the invasion of Hong Kong, was punished for being a war criminal, was executed by the firing squad in 1946. The soldiers who died from the war were buried in the Sai Wan Military Cemetery and the Stanley Military Cemetery. There were a total of 1,528 soldiers were buried, and there were many soldiers from lots of countries like Britain, Canada, and